Hello and welcome to another episode in 100K Journey. Today we have Issa. Hello, Issa.
Hello, guys. Hello, nice to see you.
How are you?
Very well. Thank you. Just wonderful living in here in Cape Town.
Yeah,
So
nice. Like you
very
are
happy to be here.
the first guy from Cape Town, I think we have today on the
Hey,
podcast.
Cape Town representing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
hopefully many more.
Yeah. So Issa told me like you're a serial entrepreneur. You have plenty of businesses and you started like one decade ago. Can you tell me more information about your background and everything?
Yeah. So tell you a little bit of my background. My name is Issa Lopez. Issa Jesus Lopez. I'm originally from Spain, a city called Granada, beautiful city in the south. I lived there just when I was a very little boy, Then most of my life I spent growing up in Mexico. I went there with my father, my family. So I spent like 12 years of my life in Mexico. And when I was about 18 or something, I left Mexico. I literally packed up my bags and I came back to Spain, where I spent a couple of years, just working and, getting a little bit out of my house environment. And one of my dreams was always learn English and be able to communicate as good as possible in English. So I end up going to the UK, where I spent about a year, also like working and learning English in a school in the north in Leeds. After that, I came back to Spain, and seeing the situation, I wasn't very sure what I wanted to do. I just knew that I had this drive for entrepreneurship and wanting to, explore like ideas of, like my own business or start doing something. But at the time, my best friend and a lot of our friends from Spain and, overseas, we had a big group of friends. They were living here in Cape Town already in South Africa. So I decided to come and visit. I was at the time 21 years old. I
Okay.
came down and visit. I really liked this place, where I stayed for, after like 20 days of holidays, became 6 months. 6 months became a year, and I was like, oh, I need to kind of like start doing something. I kind of
Yeah.
just being chilling. Even though I don't complain, it was really nice those days. But it was, I wanted to start doing something, and I saw some opportunity in South Africa. But like everything, like you hear, yeah, you can do something here. Why don't you start business? And at the time, I met this girl that I knew, and she was telling me there was a gap in the market for men's clothes and some cool stuff and cool T-shirts. Because remember, this is Africa, like South Africa, like 12 years ago. It was
Yeah.
very behind. Because you can imagine we're still a little bit behind, but it has gotten much more advanced. And through that, he always stayed with me. I was always inclined to fashion and design and materials and things like that. So
So
I decided to venture out.
you started your first
Hmm?
business by finding a gap in the market and you tried to solve it. This is how you came with the idea for the business.
Yes, you could say that. I mean, back in those days, I wasn't even sure what was a market or was it to solve some issues in the market. I was more like, oh, there's a market. People like T-shirts that are cool, and there is not a lot of like options out there. So I
Yeah.
was okay. Let me just put my thoughts and do it. So from the get go, I tried to do the best possible product that I could. I utilized some of my models that were friends that were models and a photographer. I got involved in photography.
Okay.
So I was working with a photographer behind the camera, in front of the camera, just literally learning how to portray the best image possible.
Yeah.
So through that experience, I launched the first product, if you could say it. And obviously I started doing well. We did some good T-shirt sales. I got into a very cool hip market here in Cape Town, which is called the Biscuit Mill. It's very popular here. And it was going great, but my management wasn't very good. So any money that I was making, I was spending it. And then I was struggling again to make another collection or another product.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it took me through that journey, which I learned a lot, and I started developing more products. And that's
But
how, throughout, yeah.
you didn't have experience back then, did you? Didn't you wasn't frustrating starting a business without experience if it's going to
Oh.
fail or is going to succeed. Your money, it can be gone. All the ideas that come to people when they start
Yeah,
their first business.
no, exactly. Like, I mean, yeah, it was a bit of mixed feelings. I just saved some money, and every time I could, I would put some money aside, and I did the first little drop of product. I had to learn a lot because obviously, when you think of, let me just do a T-shirt or something, you don't realize the amount of little components that do, like, especially on the graphics, especially on, just the manufacturing itself, finding the right materials and messing up a lot of the time because I didn't even know what material different types are, like I just thought like a t-shirt is a t-shirt made out of material. Like I didn't know
Yes.
if cotton or polyester or mix or this or that.
Yeah.
So obviously certain products works in a way, certain doesn't. So also learning how the graphics, learning about the vectors, learning about the different types of computer generated graphics, that which one is best for which application and so on. So it was a big learning curve for sure.
Okay. So this was the first business you ever done in your life, I think. The t-shirt company.
Yeah, you could say it. Yeah, I mean, I would say that on my own, yes, I did manage business before.
Yeah, but you
Like I
were an
said, in
employee.
Mexico,
You're an
yeah,
entrepreneur.
kind of like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I mean, I was working in family business in Mexico. I used to run one of our restaurants that we had there for a little while, and I was like 16. So it did show me how to, manage some
Run a
of my
business.
funds, and being
Yeah.
able to manage different funds, expenses, and all of that. But my own personal business, this was it. I started it. When I started with 21, I started about 23, I think it was.
Okay.
So, but one thing I was sure, it was like, you know what, like I always heard, like I always tend to look people around me, and like they always fail the business and they will give up very quickly, like 2 years, not even, and they will desist of carry on. And for me, one thing important was like, you know what, I'm giving myself 10 years, like literally 10 years, and to
Okay.
make this a success or not. But I could be actually just working for a boss or working in a restaurant or whatever. But I was like, I'd rather work for myself. And, for one reason or another, I always had enough to survive and to live and be able
Okay.
to have so many good experiences and travels and stuff like that. I wouldn't been able, maybe, if I was just working for a company, because I was way more free, in that
Yeah.
sense. So yeah,
So you started your first
that
business selling
obviously,
t-shirts,
mm,
and then did it
yeah, I
succeed?
started doing t-shirts.
Like
Yeah, I
you're
mean,
still doing it
considerably,
till now?
Yeah, okay. So obviously, like that's the beginning of the story. Then throughout the years, we developed the brand. We became quite big. We did fashion shows. We did trade shows. We end up having a coffee shop with a clothing shop
Really?
mixed together. Then the coffee shop moved away and to a new building, which we also kind of partnered up. We bought a building with my business partner at the time, and we kind of like merged two businesses. Then I was having just the shop in one side, which was one of the main streets here in city of Cape Town. Then after that, every time I find it like I was about to close or I was about to give up or something, and like a good entrepreneur, you put more in your plate. You put another project in your plate.
Yes.
And instead of retrieving, I put more
You're
more things on my plate. So
putting wood to
yeah, I
make more
developed.
fire, to make things
Yeah, exactly.
continue.
Exactly. Continue, or like, I mean, sometimes it's like almost, it feels like it's self-sabotaging almost, like, like you want to take the easy route out and be like, oh, I had a
Yeah,
good
you
run,
quit.
let me just close this. Then you put more in your plate and you're like, oh my God, now I have to do double the work. But yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the journey, I believe. So I always thought, it's the journey and not just the destination. I developed a different brand when I was actually involved with the first one and the second brand, which is called Iconic Black, which is a very cool streetwear brand of South Africa, as well in the clothing business. Yeah, as you can see, I'm wearing one of the shirts that we did
Oh, really?
recently. So
It's
it's
so
play with
cool.
the South African flag. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like with the
cool.
flag of South Africa, but minimalistic. So we developed a whole community around the product. We did we have a lot of NGO work as well that we did. We had a lot of events that we just given for free to like young upcoming creators. So we had a movement of young African creatives in the fashion, in the music, in the film, and the arts. So we will kind of like enable like that kind of platform for them to be able to create, or we collaborated with different people and all of that. And it was going good. You know, we had our ups and downs like any business, but overall it was very welcome. The brand was very popular, and it has been always been very popular in every visitor that comes to South Africa to take something back home, which represents like the street culture in a way. And yeah, we did our bit in the industry, I suppose. But now recently, after obviously like a lot of things happen in the, you know, besides Corona, obviously with COVID and all that, we closed a few of the shops, and some of the shops that we were selling in Barcelona closed down. And there was a moment of like, you know, reflection, and
Yes.
I kind of like, yeah, like some personal things happen in my personal life, and things that I needed to take a step back, you know, I needed to kind of like just let things be, you know. And that's when I, you know, just took like a year focusing on other things. I went travel a little bit, and you know, just brainstorm where is
That
the
was
next
during
step, you
Corona?
know.
During Corona, you just took a break
Yeah,
from
that was
everything?
literally, that was like 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Did you feel
So
like
I
burned
mean, I
out
also have,
from business and doing
yes,
like stuff?
yeah, like I was a little bit, I feel I'm very, the thing with me is that I'm a person that I'm very resilient, you know. You can take me against the wall over and over and over again, and I will stand up again, and I will carry on, and I will push through, and I will. And sometimes it's a bit like I said sometimes to myself, it's a little bit like, you know, like sadomasochism. You know, like it's like
Yes.
I hit, like I find joy almost in hitting myself, and another one, and I'm so resilient with that. But there's a moment that even if you fall into the ground, you step up again, and you try again to find a solution. And but this time it was like too many things at once, you know. It's like a long story to discuss here, but it was like from all angles something was going wrong, you know. Besides Corona, it
Yes.
didn't took me out really. Corona was just like a top of the iceberg, but it was more in the business. We got broken into. There was like, I lost my computers, all my data, everything was lost. So for me, it was a moment of like, you know what? I left it, you know, I left it, and I was like, oh, I'm okay with like letting go, you know. And
Yes.
interesting enough, when I changed that shift, because I was like, okay, let me let it go and everything. Obviously, I kept some of the lines that I have. So I also like do branding, consulting, and brand strategy with different products from different suppliers. So one of them, which is a manufacturer of leather jackets, which is one of our best selling products in one of the brands that we manage.
Yeah.
So I just focus more on that one online. I just focus fully online. I position the brand in all the platforms online, and that actually, beginning of last year, it started doing so well. Like I was actually very taken by the amount of sales that were coming through from that brand. So, and I made everything. Obviously, I put like 6 months of hard work to put out the whole infrastructure. And then I got a virtual team of like an assistant and a couple of people that kind of plugs in into my mechanism, and it allowed me to kind of like be able to breathe, and like the business is going by itself almost. Like I just keep a tabs on it, right?
Was it easy to
Like,
come, like after stopping everything and going on traveling for a bit? Was it easy to come up after being in the lowest bottom of point of your life?
yo, to be honest, that's the funny thing, is because like I was red numbers all across the board when it comes to all my businesses, personal, and I was like feeling it. I was like, oh, what is the way out here? I don't see the way out. I was considering maybe I went to Switzerland, maybe try and find a job with some of the companies there, or I was already considering just going to work for somebody, and I'm okay with that as well. Like I know I can bring some value to the table in my expertise. Um,
But
and also like learning new things, you know. I'm never afraid of learning, you know. But interestingly enough, when I changed that, and I started going with that direction, things started happening, you know. Like all that work that I put in, all of a sudden it started clicking, you know. And then I started
yes,
generating good sales, which allowed me to basically be working, not working much, but traveling and learning and trying new things as well, new investments, playing around. So I came with another kind of, when all this
new
kind
vision.
of like mess. Yeah, like I mean, I have the brands, and because I was managing different deals under the brand's company, I was like, wait, let me create another company or another management tool here, because I wanted to kind of create this umbrella of like So I created this company named Premier Trading SA, which now we
Okay.
focus not just in managing those brands that we already have under that umbrella. It allows me also to be a bit more free, you know, because if I'm just selling you something under a clothing brand, but I'm doing a deal that is maybe a commodity or is something to do with a third party brand, it kind of clashes a little bit
Yes.
the narrative, you know. So for me was, first of all, create an email, which is a professional email with
So
the Premier
one
Trading
second, Isa.
SA
So
domain.
you wanted to
Yeah.
start a couple of businesses at the same time or have separate entities, so you start creating like a corporate umbrella, and under each umbrella you have
Hmm.
separate businesses, so you can generate a lot of different sources of income. Do I get it right?
100%. Yes, 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 yes.
Was it
Yes,
a
and
smart
give me the
move?
freedom to, because
Was it a
I
smart
was
move to
very
do that?
smart. It was the best move, I think, in the last 2 years, because it didn't just allow me to now speak to other businesses and be a little bit more free on my approach, and also be able to like just definitely broker in different deals or approach a bigger companies, because I'm not approaching them from the perspective of a
Effective one.
company that is based only in one fashion, you know. So I created
Yes.
this kind of vertical company which manages different entities, and not necessarily manage it on the finance side, but managing on the, you know, on the public space, you know, like
Yes. You
meetings, things
started
like that. So
making
everything is
team for
kind of
each
channeled
company.
down.
You started making team for each business so it can like work by itself, right?
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I
So you
kind of
think,
manage it all.
yes, but you are
Mm,
managing the team, not the business. So people are working, doing the business, and you are just following up by way of or another.
exactly,
But
exactly. So
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 people,
through, yeah.
in order people to scale their businesses or do a couple of businesses together, building a team is a very important point or a turning point in the business.
Yeah, building a team, and I suppose, like, to be honest, my side, I mean, in the last 2 years, my biggest thing that I did, and I know it sounds like I literally like lost a lot of the people that was working with me and all of that, because of the nature of the business almost going under in a way, and I needed my own space. I couldn't be holding people's hands anymore. You know, I had to either do it myself or not. So in a way, I created a more of a virtual team. So everybody's like a freelance. You know, like they work
Okay.
with me, but they also work for themselves. So I have several people that I take on. So one person maybe helps me maybe with the day-to-day courier bookings, shippings, and all of that in one of the companies. And then another person maybe does social media management and all of that for one of the companies. And in a
Okay.
way, like they all kind of work for themselves, but they're all part of our team, you know. And that same team, I promote them into the Premier Trading SA, where if there is a good deal coming through and I need maybe like a good website developer, or I need good marketing team, or I need this, I can also channel it to their own businesses, you know. So we all work
Yes.
as well as freelancers in a way. But yeah, right now I'm in the position now again to start looking at maybe longer or hires, or like a little bit more established hiring. But
Yeah.
the way I'm designing this is a very hybrid model, you know.
Yeah, I think when you are beginning your business, it's better to hire a freelancer so you don't commit to a fixed salary. But when business start going
Mm.
on, there is a good cash flow. I think it's better to hire people on a full-time basis so they are dedicated to the business they are hired for, so you can get a better results or people are more focused at least.
Yes, yes, I don't dispute that. My business model right now is to do it everything in a way that is very freelancing mode. And just obviously now I'm looking at maybe getting one person to work for me, like even half time or something like that, you know. Um, so yeah, I was explaining to you, like with the Premier Trading, obviously we started doing more. I've been busy doing more like business of international import export. I'm trying to like get into that scene, you know, like besides my fashion brands, or besides my, because we also have a guest house that we manage. So we have like
A
5
lot of
apartments and all
businesses.
that. I also, yeah, like I mean,
Airbnb.
I have a little bit of, yeah, we do Airbnb, Booking.com. So that was one of the first business that I set up here with my partner in South Africa. So we kind of like gave also that business to our external company to manage for us. and they also just get commission based upon the rent and all that. But they took a lot of my headaches, to be honest, because I remember like working in place with people and all of that, then you become very responsible sometimes for a lot of things that is just adding a lot of weight to you. And in this specifically arena, you know, like I'm okay sharing that with somebody that is going to take it as his own business and run it, you know, and really reap the benefits, you know.
Yes, as an entrepreneur, we have 24 hours like any other person in the world. So we have to get the most out of the
Yeah,
24 hours to make maximum money. And
exactly.
I think nobody can do it by himself. He has to hire people. He has to hire maybe companies like the Airbnb company to help him save time and focus on other things so they can do their thing, they can get their share of profit, and you are still making money, maybe less, but you have a free time to
Yeah,
focus on doing your business trade, or like focusing on your e-commerce brand, or doing new business.
yeah, no, definitely. I think that that has been obviously like, remember we come out of difficult times, you know, so across the board, everything, the sales, everything, the movement was very low. So I was in a very survival mode as well. You know, I was just trying to minimize my expenses. I went from like 100% to 80% expenses cut. So, you know, so I closed shops. You know, I had a studio rental office. I didn't need it. I really tried to reinvent that space for another thing, didn't really work, so I just cut it off. And yeah, thankfully, like I've managed to steer out of those waters. Now I'm obviously like just being able to start playing again with the idea. For instance, now like my latest project, which I've been working for the last 4 or 5 months non-stop, it's been like really non-stop, is besides the premier trading, on the trading and the brokering. So like I got contacts now in Europe, for instance, that sells like stock lots of clothing or items or different products and commodities, and I'm trying to sell that as a wholesale to the South African or the African market, you know, maybe Nigeria or South Africa or whatever. So
You are
different
trying to go
commodities, and that
international.
obviously, yeah, well, no, that is just like I'm doing the brokering. So I find the buyer and the seller, and I negotiate, and I do the terms, and I help navigate that to be able to those transactions, right? Hopefully, and then I just get a cut of the commission based on that, and that obviously kind of gonna fuel me to do my own projects as much. And but like now, for instance, in the 4 months that I've been talking to you now, is I've been also re-evaluating, because my brands, I had the two brands, one my personal name and with Iconic Black. I'm relaunching now, so I've been working very hard to try to take away all the issues that the brand had as being made here in South Africa, and as in the business model that I had, it was very it had a lot of hiccups. Now I have redesigned this global strategy now, where I will be able to sell the product anywhere in the world, almost free
Wow.
shipping, you know, like cover the cost and get way higher quality goods, and then just tell the story, you know, and make people buy into the brand, into the story, into the movement, into what we're doing in South Africa. So yeah, we're excited. We as I speak, we have been getting samples sent off to us. We're busy doing a
Oh.
sneaker collection made out of Spain, very good manufacturer and one of the best in Spain. So, and all this business is going to be very sustainable, because I'm not producing a lot of stock and then waiting to sell. I'm producing it on a weekly basis, smaller batches of
Oh,
the same stuff, and
okay.
then
That is
just
smart.
as the orders coming through.
That is smart way.
Yeah,
Yes, you don't have a stock and you have to
yeah,
make discount or sale to get out of the stock. But I think what you are doing is based on
exactly.
10 years of experience, or a lot of experience from your brands and from businesses that failed. When people are starting out, they have the imagination, oh, everything is going to work out. We're going to invest in the
Mm,
$1 million of stock. We're going to invest on having an office and fancy stuff. But through the experience, you get to understand a lot. Okay, I don't need $1 million worth of stock to start a business. I need a small stock, and once the business start going, I can scale. I can buy more. I can, like, a lot of stuff I think is coming from experience. But you are starting this time in a perfect way.
100%. 100%. Like, it's very important what you said there. And that's something that I was actually, I realized, because I always used to say this 10 years, you know, in my mind was like those 10 years. And you obviously heard of the 10,000 hours. You heard of like, sometimes it's not like time is, it's time that you dedicate to something. it starts building certain characters in you. It starts building certain way of seeing things. Like now, the opportunities that come to me, I can grasp them quickly. I can see them through. I can, oh, okay, that's a good opportunity. Or it's like if we talk about a pizza, maybe, you know, I had all the different ingredients, you know, but I didn't know maybe how to make the specific chicken and I don't know, with the shrooms and this and that, and making the best pizza. I just knew, okay, that will be a margarita, whatever. Now I kind of like see all these ingredients, and I can make, and I can put two together, and I'm like, okay. And I have learned as well that to take my time,
Yes.
learn, do the research, put emphasis in not just like getting ahead of myself and just trying something and shooting blanks. Now I'm going step by step, do the best I can to provide the best service that I can. And then also, obviously, there's always going to be that element of, you call it luck, you can call it, you never know, you know, but it's the 10 years that actually sets you aside from a lot of people that have not put in the time.
Yeah, I think in
Yeah,
your 20s,
I think so, yeah.
you have to try a lot of business. You have to start and fail, and you have to learn from your mistake, and you know what you are good at, to understand yourself. Like, understand yourself as a person is very important. Okay, I'm good at focusing. I'm not good at maybe doing sales school or whatever. You have to understand what you are good at, what you are bad or at. Get experience from building a couple of business, and it fails. It's okay. So when you reach your 30s, like what happened to you, you're not exactly what you are doing. I think you will have a very
Yes.
like, you'll have a great success based on the experience, not because you are magical, not because you predict future, but you know what you're doing at least.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, I do have a very good feeling with this. Like everything else, is obviously requires some capital behind, requires to make some good strategic planning. It requires, you know, to some sort of follow certain path, you know, and like, you know, stick to a vision that you have, and being always open to keep on learning, you know. I mean, I still get challenges. I mean, this week, for instance, for me, like I never had to deal with, like, I've been nonstop, like I won't lie to you, like for 14 hours a day, literally just thinking, talking, learning about tax, about VAT, about what is the cost of my goods sold in any part of the world, literally almost. That's at least for now in the biggest markets, which is Europe, America, and South Africa, because we live here and we are from here. So it's been like, I mean, my head, it was just like, it was like,
yeah, a lot of ideas.
Like, I mean, I'm not a number guy. I mean, I don't like to be reading about numbers so much. I'm a creative person. I'm a good entrepreneur, but I had to do it, and I had to really, like, that's the challenge, because like, even if you ask people, like, there's certain things that they don't know, as it's out of the scope. And then I had to do a lot of the deep research, and to be actually today is when I actually put everything together on my mind and on paper. What is the strategy and how I can reach every single person that I want to. And I want to, at the end of the day, for me, was like, I want to give the best customer experience possible, and the best logistic supply. Like, even if it takes long to deliver because of our business model, but there's not going to be hiccups. There's not going to be people waiting, and then the things are, you need to pay extra on you this and that. Yes. I rather want to absorb those costs and transfer them into the price of the goods, but give them like a ready-made garment to the best of my ability in the doorstep, and like just focus on that.
I think when you deliver the best customer experience, people are happy with their purchase, people are happy with their products, they tell their friends, and you grow a reputation out of providing value or selling a good, valuable product. This is how you scale a brand. But I think if you didn't start your businesses in South Africa as a t-shirt and everything, you would never learn that. You will just, okay, I want to invest some money.
No, you would never learn it. Yeah.
You will be, okay, how
exactly.
I can
I like
money.
It's important, I think, more than ever, to be transparent and to show the people, like, you know, as a brand, you know, as a person, because I'm just one of the directors. There's more people behind this movement and these brands, that, you know, we all equal in a way of, but somebody has to lead this, right?
Yes.
And for me, it's very important right now to be able to provide the best service, and to get the clients that always have loved the brand, have wanted a piece of the brand, being able to get that brand, being able to tell the friends, being able to spread the word, being able to, and us also to be able to scale into different countries. I had the opportunities, like people wanted it, but there was not a sustainable business model. So for me, it was difficult to get a big order, and then I came back and the manufacturing was not great. There is no constant flow. So now we
Yes.
kind of fix that, and I hope this is going to be the solution. And that's one of
Also,
my projects, you know. I mean, I take it as
yeah.
that's
But
one of my little
there is
babies, and I'm excited about that.
one thing I can see, you are looking yourself as a leader, not a boss. Because a lot of people position themselves, oh, I'm the guy paying salaries, you have to work for me, you have to be doing this and this. But you are, from what I understand, you are a leader. You are leading the team to do greatness. You are not telling them what to do. You are working 14 hours yourself, pulling things to
Yes.
start. And I don't think a lot of people have this mindset, the leader mindset, not the boss. There is a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a person. I feel like, you know, if I have to give a direction, you know, and I have to be very, very serious about something, I will be. But I like people to be their own business model, their own entrepreneur. I want them to be their own person, you know. I want them to bring something to the table, because at the end of the day, that is going to make easier for me in a way to lead something that is, you know, well oiled. Everybody is showing some passion into the thing, you know. Like I said, when I was working with a lot of the young kids from here, like from all walks of life, and you know, like I used to give them the product, go shoot, go learn the photography. This is this. I said to them, like I used to tell them, like I didn't learn this. Nobody taught me this. I went through Google, I went through
Yes.
YouTube, I went whichever way. I asked opinions, I asked advice. You guys have an advancement already. I have gone through a lot of that. I can teach you a bit, but at the same time, go out there and look, because that's what they also needed. You know, they needed somebody to tell them you can do it. Because if nobody tells you you can do it, you can actually achieve what you really envision for yourself, irrespective it was with the brand. Maybe the brand was just a little blip on their life, but that could, for me, the beauty of that was for them to walk away with this experience, that they can apply that into their own life.
Yes.
A lot of them, they're working as a stylist, the one working as a model and as an actor, the one started maybe his own little side hustle, you know. And I think that has changed. And especially in a country like South Africa, where there's a lot of poverty, there is a lot of crime in the streets. These kids
Yeah.
come from disadvantaged communities that, I mean, I don't have to tell you, you've been here as well. Like
I have been there,
there
yeah.
is poverty and there is real poverty, you know.
And there is
So for
really
them,
rich
just to give
people
them
as
that,
well. Yeah, like South Africa is
yeah, no,
really,
obviously, I mean,
it's really diversified. There is a lot of people on the top, and there is a lot of
it's
people,
like literally like,
nobody in the middle.
exactly. No,
But
there
you
is
are
a
giving
very,
back to the
very
community.
rich
You are
society and
giving back to the people. You know, you are teaching them a skill, and by the skill, they are earning money in the future because they are providing value to the clients or to the brands or whatever work they
yeah.
want to work in. I think this is a really smart thing to do.
Exactly. I mean, that's part of the movement that we obviously can create it. And, you know, like, yeah, we did a lot of things. So, but besides that, I mean, it's a beautiful story as well. Like, I mean, people like, besides that, just the brand itself is a cool brand. It's like something people would really like. And it's something that is very international, to be honest. Because I had most of my clients were from Germany, Switzerland, America. And they really like the brand, you know, they like the
Yes.
name, they like how it looks, they like how it sounds, everything. So now, like going back to the premier trading in a way, so with this umbrella now, I kind of like have these compartments where I can, you know, manage Iconic Black in one side, manage my online deals, because I also sell products through other people. I have partnerships with the biggest websites in South Africa,
Yes.
which is long-standing relationships. So I don't mind putting other products into those lines, you know, and then we just manage them and try to repeat what we do. But I also focus on what I have and what is mine, and yeah, I mean, looking at the future now with the project like Iconic Black, where we can advance way more quicker. We will be able
Yes.
to do maybe pop-ups overseas or activations overseas, because I was involved a lot as well with the music scene, and like I know a lot of DJs and people on their parties and
Oh,
festivals. It's a big festival place.
okay.
So so through that, like, you know, like do activation. So that is what the movement was about as well. Is collaborating with those kind of like musicians, the DJs,
Yes.
our artists, things like that, you know. So could just showcase that cool African in a way that is international. And I believe that you know, sooner or later that will be also a bigger driving force to purchase the brand, to support the movement, you know.
Yeah. So you are saying you are doing an NGO work under the umbrella or giving back to the community somehow. I didn't understand this point.
Yeah, so when we were busy with the brand, so we were like for 5 years, so we had a lot of initiatives where right now it's kind of quiet down after the lockdown and after all these new business
Yes.
kind of global new launch is going to happen. But we still, obviously, part of the brand ethos is giving back to the community. We have done a lot of little activations and things with kids from disadvantaged community, etc. Now, for instance, what we're going to be focusing on when we start actually launching the brand and we start regenerating sales and all of that,
Yes.
with funds, with every sale made, a percentage of the funds is going to go through different of these initiatives that either we are involved ourselves or we just support it as a, it could be, it could be a competition with graphic designers. It could be we just giving money for them to shoot a music video, or we had partnerships, for instance, with a company based here called Cape Town Thing, where they also have a local studio recording. They push like music from the streets in a way coming up. They
Yes.
record, they do that. And we had this kind of like partnership. We would share a lot of their content in our feeds. They would share our content. And we were in the talks of like doing like, we had some live events where we invite like a TED Talks in a way, like a TED Talks. We had our own version of it where we hosted like different kids from different communities and we just give them a speech. We invite maybe speakers like yourself or like maybe a brand strategist, a fashion designer, a photographer, and we put them in a panel and we just discuss how they got there, how they developed, how all of that, and that inspire all this young generation to be like, yo, I can also do that. I can also be able to dream. I can also be able to come out of my situation, because everything starts with the willingness,
Yes.
I don't come from rich, believe me. I come from very poor background as well myself. I never had any easy, since I remember I had to work for whatever I had to. But one thing I always wanted, I was like, I want to be able to have a successful life the way I see it, being able to work for myself, being able to, experience life, do things, and life will open for me doors,
Part of what you are doing, you are giving back because you didn't have the opportunity. So you are seeing yourself and the people who want to start out not coming from a great community or a great background, and you were telling them, I was there, I was in your place, and now I can help you achieve your dreams.
Yeah, it's 100%. That's
Because a lot of
pretty
people,
much how I felt many times.
yeah, a lot of people just make a money or make a business, and they just start showing off. They getting like a cool cars, getting a cool watches, and oh, I have money. Not a lot of people think about giving back, about helping others. That's a very kind of you,
Yeah,
like a good vision.
yeah. Look, I do both. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like good cars sometimes. I
Of
like
course,
good
we all
watches.
do.
But like that, like as jokes aside, is that I always felt like, what, a little that I could do here, it meant a lot for them, and I can pick up the phone anytime. And they're like, at the end of the day, they are trustworthy kids. Even though they come from very, very tough backgrounds. I do see my reflection on them, and like they always used to be very grateful and very respectful, and they're also like, so like, what, with the brands, we can explore different things, and we can actually try things. And I always used to tell them, look, I'm not gonna give it to you because I can't. I'm running also my own things. I'm busy. I'll give you the opportunities and I show you the house, but it's up to you where you want to take it on. It's up to you where you want to see yourself going forward. You know what I mean? And you're
Mm.
gonna have to put in the time, and
Life
you're
is a
gonna have to
choice.
work. And this is not an easy task.
Life is
Exactly,
a choices.
100%.
You have to be willing to
Yeah.
sacrifice and pay the price for what you want. If you want like to party every weekend and have a good time, you can do it. But in your
Then
30s, you
that's
will
what you're gonna
be
do.
still
Yeah.
working for someone. You will be still broke. But if you put a lot of your effort, maybe you don't see results at right now, but in 10 years, like yourself right now, you're seeing results out of experience. You are building great thing or
There
great
you
brand
go.
out of experience because you worked so hard in the past.
Yeah. You're a very
Because
wise man, eh?
no, not really
Those
wise, but
words
I'm seeing
describe the whole thing.
I'm seeing the reflection. People maybe
No,
go
but
to the
describe it
gym.
so well. Like, I didn't saw it in that way. Like, after you put it those 10 years, is the experience that actually
Yeah,
sometimes, like, I funny because I used to think like one of my latest like thoughts was um people tend to think like, oh, just working hard, you're just working hard and you make it. And it is working hard, but it's also something else which I experienced recently, is when you are completely, I would say, but obsessed, about it, and you completely thinking about it, and you're working, but not necessarily just working like as a labor, but you're constantly thinking, analyzing, strategizing. It becomes like you become in this drunk state almost, And that drunk state is what it becomes, that
Workaholic.
that hard work. That work, maybe that's workaholic. But it becomes, then you see the opportunities. Then things start coming. You see the opportunities. Okay, cool. Oh, I can put this together. I can do it, because you are observing everything that you have constantly, day after day, kind of push through those moments that you just want to go be chilling on the beach. This summer, I barely was on the beach. I was running 4 different businesses, and I was learning and studying and trying new things, and it's okay. Maybe after 2 months, I'll go overseas and I will chill for a month, and it's okay.
Yeah,
But
because you
there's
build
times that you
things,
need
you
to
put
like
people.
really focus.
Yes, but after maybe if you go to chill after maybe 3-4 months when everything is going well, you have people in place, everything is just in place. You can chill out for a bit. You are a human. You're burned out. You worked hard to enjoy your time at the beach without worrying. Not a lot of people can
Exactly. Yeah.
put
Exactly.
work up front. People want to see results right now. People want to, okay, I want to make 100,000 right now. Not willing to work for 6 months and making 0, and then start seeing money coming in. People
6
never
months
see
or 3 years or 5 years. Yeah.
the other side of the mountain. The people see the winds, and they want it without sacrificing anything.
A lot of people crack under pressure, and that's why not everybody can handle to be an entrepreneur, and as an entrepreneur, like you constantly on it, I'm 24/7 activated. I mean, if something is happening tonight and tomorrow, whatever, and you call me and I'm there, you know what I mean? I'm not like I used to be everywhere, out and about, networking. I never used to say I'm going out partying, even though it was, most of them was maybe parties, but I was going to network. Literally, I was going there, talking to people. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is what you're doing. This is that. And that's how, like, I became quite known here, maybe in South Africa and Cape Town. Like, I know a lot of people, people know me and all that, but it wasn't of just a socialite or anything. It was more of a like, oh, this is what he's doing and this is what he is also doing. And some of these events I was selling t-shirts, and in these fancy parties, and I'm selling t-shirts on the market, and sometimes, after a few years, that is a bit embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie to you. When you are in a nice event and everybody's looking great and you are there sweating, selling t-shirts, trying to maybe make just 500 euros.
You have to,
and then
do what you have to do.
After that, I would jump in on a Porsche and I drive in the GTS, boom, go home. You know what I mean? That's how, that's life, And I'm the same person. I don't care. I can be on the Bucky, I can be on the Porsche. I was the same person. I was trying to make it, and I'm still trying to make it. I'm still that dreamer, I'm still that passionate. And even though I have gotten a lot of hits recently, oh my God, the more money you have and the more money you start making, the hits become bigger, and then you need to start training yourself. Like I'm a person that trusts very easily. I trust people. And in South Africa, unfortunately, you cannot trust very easy a lot of people. You need to be very paranoid. And sometimes I'm like, no, but it's a good person, this and that. No, boom, they try to hit you with something, or boom, it's a scam. Oh, they're trying to scam you. I mean, they scam you for a lot of things. Like the other day, I wanted to buy a kitten for my daughter, and I bought a kitten, and it was a beautiful kitten, and then the kitten never came. And I'm calling, I'm like, what's happening? Where's my kitten? The
didn't
kitten.
Came?
I bought a kitten, a little.
Yes, it didn't came.
It didn't come.
What the hell?
Scam me with a kitten. I mean, who scams you with a kitten? I was like,
we can be grateful that it came to a kitten, not an iPhone or something more expensive.
Hey, exactly. But it was a Bengal kitten, so it wasn't cheap, But I just paid the deposit,
Yes.
And I was so sad because I was like, I just wanted a kitten for my daughter. Now I'm like sitting here so furious, but I was like, it's okay, something else will come. What I'm trying to put together with this is like, first of all, you need to be resilient. It's like everything. You want a good body. You need to work.
This is maybe an advice to people starting their business or entrepreneurs, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So entrepreneur or start your own business. I always said, start with a plan. Basic. Don't think a business plan has to be something complicated. Even if, because I never knew even what a business plan was, to be honest. Even if you just get, I got, let's say, this page where I write down everything that I'm kind of day-to-day doing.
Yeah.
Pen and paper, right? And then you start with the basic 10 things. Okay, I want to do so and so. Okay, so I need to find out about this. I need to find out about that. So that's starting to then. what is the vision of the mission? Okay, I want in the next 5 years, or even in the 6 months, I even do a business strategy for 6 months. In the 6 months, I want to be able to have this, this, this. And then just to start. Do not wait
Baby
for the
steps.
perfect moment. Do
Baby
not
steps.
wait. Just to start. Okay, I contact this person. Oh, I send this email. Oh, I did this research. And the more you start feeding that energy, the more you start finding like solutions to the problems. And then you find more problems. And then you're like, okay, how can I tackle that? Business plan essential to have an understanding, basic business plan. I'm not an academic. No, let's not do 20 pages for something that is small. Then give yourself a date, or just say, okay, from tomorrow, this is the new me, and start, I always lived, many years ago, I used to work in a restaurant, very fancy restaurant in Spain. And I always used to see wealthy people. I used to serve them. And I always envisioned myself being one of those persons that can sit in a table and spend 200 euros, 300 euros on a meal, wearing a beautiful watch. I was like, yeah, that would be so nice. I would envision myself. One day I'm going to be that person. So I always live by the saying that be who you think you are. That is one of my lines that I always, as simple as it is, it kind of has a lot of meaning to me and a lot of people for sure. Be who you think you are. If you think you are a designer, start acting like a designer. Start involving yourself in design. Start, living, dreaming design. If you are a photographer, if you think you are a photographer, who is me to tell you not a photographer? You might don't have the skill yet. You might have to go through all the learning, but start acting like one. Take your camera, start shooting, start taking photos, go learn, go this, start involving yourself in that. I always said I'm an international businessman, you know what I mean? I'm a global businessman. That's my ultimate goal. Like, I want to be able to be around the world, closing great deals, doing good for the community, whatever. I always envision, and I haven't gotten there yet. Well, maybe I have in a smaller scale,
Yes.
I have traveled, obviously. I've traveled in business. I've done business overseas and all of that. But I always envision myself, I want to be able to fly in business class anywhere in the world, do business, sit down around the tables, close deals, take a week, go off to, I don't know, like island, come back, that lifestyle, So I think it's like, start emanating that. And then it's obviously learn. I'm not saying learn through this public system of schooling.
No.
I never had the chance, Unfortunately, for me, it was never an option. I never went through schooling on universities or even second, like, bachiller or whatever it's called in English. I did learn, obviously, the basics, and like, obviously, I know how to write and read. But it's the first time, actually, that I'm doing a course through the University of Cape Town, which is based online, and is about a specific thing that I want to explore and understand, not because I'm going to dedicate myself to it, but because I want to have that knowledge. And it's a course in import and export trading in an international, global scale kind of thing, come from the South African perspective. So I'm learning that because I want to understand the know-how, the language, this and that. But learning is, you can learn everywhere and anywhere. So constantly learning, constantly also being willing to receive advice and criticism, and the same thing for you to give to other people, being in that conversation. And try to surround yourself with people that are also dreamers, that are also people that are go-getters, because you attract that energy.
Your social circle, I think you are the output of the 5 closest people to you in your social circle. So if they're a business owner, you'll be a great business owner. If they are losers, they're going to parties and stuff, which is fine at some point to have fun. But if they are living to go to parties, I think at some point you will be one of them, or you will just quit the circle and find successful people with good mindset at least.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that is, that is always been. So I know sometimes it's not that easy, to think about, but there is a lot of solutions. We live in a day and age that, with online, there are so many things that you can get yourself into those circles. Like, I was in Barcelona and I met this app called Meetup. Here it's not very big, but in Barcelona and Spain, it's quite big in Europe. And then Meetup.
Yeah, Meetup for networking and business, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a meetup from different, and you meet some really interesting people. Like, you meet from guys that are like university teachers of Harvard, or like, then I was chatting to a guy who was all into his vegan food, and like, you know, and another guy doing robotics, and you start, you know, obviously you start being pulling with what you actually like more. Maybe like I met some people doing drop shipping business models, which I'm kind of like going more into it. And sorry, my lights are going.
Yeah.
It's maybe
No
load shedding.
problem.
And then so you can start kind of finding your groove. So, and be constantly learning, constantly. I mean, like in the last 2 years, when I was completely like, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. Like I kind of like, but I couldn't stand still. I'm a person that I constantly need to be challenged myself. So I did a couple of courses on dropshipping as well online. And then I
Wow.
set up a website, dropshipping website there that is there. I haven't even had time to really launch it, but it's there. And I have another website there. And I'm like, okay, now, but I need to also just focus on what I have in the plate,
Yes,
which
you
is
have to focus on
already,
one egg and grow it, and then focus on the
yes,
other.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
No, exactly. No, now I'm focusing on my international trading, my iconic black website launch again, and then the rest is all self-maintaining now. We still have a shop here in city, but it's also self-sustainable now. So yeah, every bit counts. You know, everywhere I'm managing to pull some
I can
cash
see.
flow to
I
kind of
can
like
see. To have a better income,
invest.
to have a different sources of income at least.
Yeah, look, I mean, it goes ups and down. It's not like it's something stable. I mean, I wish it was something stable. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this month is a bit dry. What is going to happen? And then something happens. Maybe a deal comes, a call, and then, we made the month. Okay. Then some months are really, and then you need to also learn how to, you know, like just read the situation. I'm a big spender when it comes to the business. Before I was like, let me just spend it. Now I'm a bit more conservative. You know, we also living in a
Mm.
times that are very uncertain. There are
Exactly.
a lot of factors playing, especially in South Africa at the moment. Like we have load shedding, which is every day we get cuts of electricity because the government and all of the plant of electricity is messed up. So the whole economy is actually suffering, you know, like, so by product of that, anybody that has businesses, which could be my clients, they're actually suffering. So they are not making enough money. So for them to kind of think of spending some money into something that is expensive, it just drops. So you need to take into consideration all of that. We just come out of
Exactly.
recessions. Well, we are in a recession, but we come out of COVID and all that. So you need to, you know, play not safe, but
Yeah.
with
To
certain
be
things, you need to be a
wise.
little bit more.
So,
Exactly.
Issa,
So yeah.
it was a long conversation though. So I have one last question. If you
Tell
weren't
me,
an
yeah.
if you weren't an entrepreneur, what would you do?
Okay, so I fell into fashion design and designing because I always had a love for clothing. I think the clothing love was born to me actually when we were living in Mexico. My mother and we couldn't afford brand new clothes. So genuinely, they would take us to vintage markets or to secondhand clothing markets, and I will find cool items which I really enjoy seeing the materials, and oh, this is cool, and I will reshape it into my body type. And then some of my friends were like, oh, where you bought this, you look like a rich kid. I'm like, oh yeah, you don't even know I got this for 20, I don't know, $20 or whatever back in the day, like 20 pesos or something. And then that way was like a law for me. But I actually, my second thing, or my biggest love for me was aviation. Actually, I always thought I would love to be a pilot. You know, that was one of my dreams, to be a pilot. So I
But in the
thought
world,
by doing fashion, I could actually, actually, I could invest money to pay for my studies and do a pilot course. But if I look back, with the money that I spent learning my mistakes, I could have actually been a pilot probably. But
well,
now I'm
you're
in
a great
between. I mean, I would love to be up for fun.
yeah, but you are at a great place. I think you are making more money than being a pilot. You can afford the expensive holidays.
Yeah. Look, I mean, yeah, I mean, now I would love to do a pilot just to say I did it. Just to say I have the course, just to fly a little Cessna when I'm old, you know, and I can just cruise around in a little Cessna. I mean, that would be a cool life, you know. Just
Yeah,
maybe, I don't know, just throw some seats into the world or something. I don't know, or just work for like a
maybe
small plane
I have
taking
some
people on a
friends.
safari or something.
I have some friends. I think they took pilot academy in the States, and they have their own small
Hmm.
small plane is not a big something for 1 or 2 people, and just fly with it for
Yeah,
a certain area just because they had the dream of becoming a pilot or driving their own plane. I think it's pretty possible right now.
exactly. I think so too. Like, yeah, it's not even that expensive yet. Actually, I've been looking at it. Last year, I was gonna take my first classes and all that. So that would be, I think that would have been one of my things. I genuinely, I like to be an entrepreneur. I love businesses. I love trying new things. I have learned so many different things now with the business. Because remember, when you start doing entrepreneurship and you have to learn of everything because you always end up doing it yourself a lot of the times. So I had to learn about marketing. I had to learn about photography. I also photograph. I'm a decent photographer. I had to do video editing. So I was doing videos. It's more hobbies, you know what I mean, that I can apply into the thing. But my number one thing would be definitely to one day maybe be able to fly a plane and all that, and just be business in general. I enjoy the life of
Yeah.
that
Hopefully,
age
I
and
think.
trying to make it.
Yeah, I think
So when you
next
come to
step
South
with you.
Africa, we can go in a
Yeah.
little course. We can go
Of course. I think
fly and see the animals from the top.
South Africa is one of the best places to learn and to be a pilot in. I think in Johannesburg. I know a lot of my friends went to Johannesburg to learn to become a pilot. I think so.
Hmm. Yeah, no, there is a lot of the places here in Cape Town. There is a couple of schools, and it's not even that expensive. Literally, like I think for like about $10,000, you get your course.
Yeah, that's
So you go
number.
slowly, pa 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 pa. You
Yeah,
go slowly. You like paying every class. You pay maybe $100 or something. So it's not bad. I spend more money going to lunches sometimes.
yeah. I know. Expensive dinners. Isa, it was a great thing having you
Yeah,
today
no,
with
no.
us in 100K podcast. It was a pleasure, and
No,
see
pleasure all
you.
mine.
Thank you, and see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of the day and evening, and I appreciate you guys having me here in this podcast. I can't wait to hear it, and can't wait to connect with more like-minded individuals across the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you.